Well, good morning. It's 8:15 in Lewes, in the UK. Keith Hayes with Mirador Radio TV. We went around last week. We were taking a week to assess where we were, what we were doing, and so on and so forth. We've come to the conclusion that our little radio spot is not broadly listened to, but it's something we can build on, and that supplements what we do on television. What we do on television you can see on either Facebook under Mirador Television, or at our own website, Mirador Television, all one word, .com. So here we are again, just to have a little chat about what's going on nationally and what's going on locally. And this morning, one of the things we want to talk about locally very briefly is that the trains from Newhaven and Seaford to Lewes are suspended. And since this is the only way, apart from buses, of getting from those communities to London, normally they would come up on the train and change at Lewes. The buses are replacing them, and so add on a little bit more to your travel time. I was at the station at 5 o'clock this morning. The trains were running on time. It's rather nice. Which actually, that's not unusual. When they leave in the morning, it's in the evening going back to Victoria. That's the problem, and I would imagine there's pretty much tonight at Lewes when you get back, so do allow some extra time for travel today. Very inconvenient, but it's going to go on for some time. And before we start smirking, those people who get the train anywhere from Battle to Brighton, we're going to have some disruption of our own throughout the winter as they upgrade the line between here, Brighton, and Victoria. So it might be better to go the other way and go from Hastings and Battle and up through I think it's Southwest trains, and we can you can get to not Victoria, but you can get into London, and perhaps that's a better bet. Although I don't know how good that line is, you have to find out for yourselves. But I can tell you that Eastbourne to Lewes, not Eastbourne to Lewes, Seaford and Newhaven to Lewes, pretty bad at the moment. Which takes us to the fact that where some of our leaders actually live, I have no idea. But when I say that, I don't mean geographically. I mean in the clouds, the ether. The local MP for Lewes, Maria Caulfield, has quite properly taken a whole host of complaints and people who have signed petitions and so on and sent them to Chris Grayling. The official stance of the Department of Transport is that the statistics show that Southern Rail is performing quite well. Mirador is performing well, thank you. In fact, we're adding to our listenership all the time, thousands. But it's performing quite well, and I don't know where they get the statistics from. All he's got to do is say to one of his chaps, "Go on, just pop down, get onto this train, come back, give me a report." I mean, soon see where he was. I mean, it's an awful service. it's as chaotic as our local council, Eastbourne and Hastings. Not Eastbourne and Hastings, Eastbourne and Lewes, which has been merged, and that's in pretty bad shape as well. In fact, one of the things that I said on our television this morning is I'm laying out a challenge because I am going to outline what the rumours are. I'm not saying they're fact, I'm just saying they're rumours. But the point is that nobody is denying them. Nobody is sending out any information, either from the Sir Humphrey side, in other words, the people that actually are at the top and leading this, or from the political side. The political side have a scrutiny committee, and it doesn't seem to be doing much in terms of scrutinising, and that's very disappointing. The other thing is that the scrutiny committee, I am told from inside, when I said it existed, is needs to get itself a private investigator or something, because inside, apparently, they chuckle and they say, well, the top brass in the hierarchy at Eastbourne and Lewes just easily pull the wool over the eyes of the politicians. And since we don't have any more, except in repeats, yes, Minister, I can't help believe it, because Sir Humphrey is alive and well. The civil service twists the tails of politicians all the time, and yet it needn't be that way. They've got a scrutiny committee. Use it. Put your foot down, because if any of these rumours are true, then we're in for a lot of trouble. If they're not true, then somebody needs to say so, and say so with conviction. So let's have some sort of investigation from the political side, from the scrutiny committee, or from outside, and that is one of the rumours and some of these rumours, when I say rumours, is I haven't just plucked them out of the air. I've spoken to people, both inside the council and outside in the community, and the rumours are the same. And one is that it's so chaotic in Lewes and Eastbourne District Council, that they may well be taken over by the government for a period. I forget what it's called. I think it's called something like special needs or special treatment or something of the sort. But if they don't want that, then they really better not only get their act together, but get back the confidence of the public. And that's really what it's all about. Politicians have forgotten that they need that. We've got a breed of politician who have forgotten that, well, they've forgotten the word duty. That's what they've forgotten. They're so busy burrowing away for their own interests that they've forgotten who puts them there. And as one pundit put it, the moment that a government, low or high, and by that I mean either Westminster or down at the district level, or for that matter the town level, once they actually lose sight and communication with their public, they are in serious trouble. And it's suggested that that's exactly what happened in the United States, and that President Trump is there because both Democrats and Republicans lost sight of who put them where they were. And I would suggest that that's what's happening here, and I hate to think of the consequences. I really do, because we're in a very strange period in our history. I mean, it's not just Brexit, which seems to take up everybody's time, but certainly tensions with the Soviet Union and with a whole host of other major issues are at a high between West and East and South and North, and we need good leadership. We need somebody to steady the ship, to see us through stormy waters, and it doesn't seem as if it's happening, simply because they've lost track, lost the sense of who they serve. I'm not going to say who the boss is, because we're silly. We're not the bosses of the electorate, but we do expect those we elect to fulfil some sort of promise when they make them, and that in fact they are aware of the sort of thing that is bothering us. Well, one is local administration, and two is the trains, and they don't seem to be doing anything about that, although the threat seems to be there. And if we look at the local people, they most certainly are out of touch with their public. They don't know where they are. They have no idea. And so somebody's got to put that straight as well. I mean, the chaos is enormous. That's from my personal experience, but all I've got to do is to visit somebody and they immediately start to give me a tale, chapter and verse, of the woes that they've had with a local government. So it's not just me. I'm not just plucking these things out of the air. I'm saying that these are things which have got to be addressed properly. And by all accounts, people, the staff are leaving in great droves because it's not a happy place to work anymore. The whole thing is falling apart. And if that's the case, somebody has got to do something about it. So either central government, take it over for a little while and sort it out. If we want the Sir Humphrey leadership, then get your act together. Put some bits and pieces in place, not bits and pieces, but a lot. Put good systems in place so that you're serving your electorate, the people in the district. And also, and it seems to me that something stopped out. There we go. I thought the microphone had quit for a moment. But also get some good PR going. And good PR isn't a cover-up the way you do it at the moment. A customer first, I think it's called, or something similar. And it's not at all. It's get some good PR. Good PR isn't just papering over the cracks. Good PR is letting people know that you're good and letting people know that you've got a reputation and that your reputation is well deserved. That's what PR is all about, not papering over and telling a porkies. It's just silly, absolutely silly. And if it's the politicians, then you've got a scrutiny committee. Come on, scrutinize. If you go into politics, you've got to put some time in. So get that scrutiny committee going, and let's see what we're about. You know, it's a sad day that we have to say all these things, but there is deep dissatisfaction growing locally in the country, and I think internationally as well, because we can see electorates getting upset all over the place. The United States, Canada. Canadians in one province, they're talking about proportional representation. Now, that's daft. I know there are people who believe in PR, but wherever. I mean, there is no, as far as I can find out, there is proportional representation hasn't worked anywhere. And ask the Italians, they tried it for a while, and they went back to first past the post. PR is never mind. We shouldn't get into that because some people believe in PR. God bless them, and if that's the case, it's democratic. We've got to go on consensus, but I don't think there's a consensus for PR. So anyway, that's the local council, and it's a bit disturbing, a bit upsetting that all those things are happening. A couple of things that Eastbourne. Let's say to Eastbourne, well done. The air show on over the weekend was excellent, and the Red Arrows couldn't turn up on a couple of occasions because of the low cloud, and that's a pity. Apparently they did leave base, they did leave Biggin Hill, but they couldn't get through. But the rest of the aircraft that aren't wing to wing and don't put their lives that much at risk, they did, and it was a good show. It was a cracking show. The weather wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad either. The people out with their picnics and great crowds from all reports. So well done, Eastbourne. And the more we have of those sort of things, the better. And may that go on from strength to strength. Lots of other things happening around the town, and there are smaller events, and we're too small to cover them. But if you want to let us know, only too happy. Apparently, I think it's this coming month in September, that the flower arranging at the stations along the line there's a competition, and that's very worthwhile. We'll go and take a look at that, because making stations look pretty is a pretty worthy occupation in my view, because that's the sort of thing that helps enormously to soften the blow when you get on board a train that's going to be late or is jam-packed, or for that matter hasn't been cleaned out, and that happens often enough as well. So that's one thing we'll keep our eye on, all the nice flowers at the train stations, and who's providing them, and who's going to win with a decent display. All right, I'm rambling a wee bit now, but I've only got 1 minute and 8 seconds, or 1 minute and 7 seconds now to go. One other thing that's quite astonishing is a British lady fell off a cruise ship, and it was just off Dubrovnik in Croatia. She swam around for 10 hours. Finding people after they've fallen into the sea is almost impossible. So well done the life-saving, the lifeboats and the researchers and the people on the cruise ship, because they found her. After 10 hours in the water, they found her and hauled her to safety, and there she was paddling away. Mind you, it's a warm sea there, but nonetheless, just it was nothing short of a miracle. And the other thing is firearms have been found in Helsham, and 3 people have been arrested, and that is a bit naughty because in the days of terrorism, firearms are necessary, and they're the sort of thing that make a lot of... we've got 7 seconds left, so I'll say goodbye for now. Toodle pip.
Ha 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 ha!